Happy Super Bowl Sunday, folks. If the stats are any indication, nobody's watching this. You're either watching the football game, tuning into the commercials, if it's Sunday, or if it's Monday, you're all hungover, tired, and you called in sick. But this is Lindy Kaiser with clearancejobs.com, rocking my football hair, don't care look. Go Chiefs, all hopped up on guacamole, wings, chips, and bringing you a little bit of a fun security clearance news update this week. My friend Randy sent me an email and said, hey, why don't you weigh in on what would have happened to Jack Ryan's security clearance when, during the Patriot games, he was at his wife's hospital bed and he decided to get called back into the CIA. Would they have required a new background investigation? Randy, that's a fantastic question. I'm so glad that you are thinking about things like this because it's funny that people think about these fictional characters and what their real lives would be like in national security. And also because it does point to a security clearance hot topic that we've talked about a few times recently, which is security clearance reciprocity and the security clearance process within the DoD versus the IC. So obviously, Naval Academy, I don't know Jack Ryan, who was sponsoring his security clearance when he was at the Naval Academy. He actually probably would have had a security clearance. If you do go into the Naval Academy, you're going to have to obtain a security clearance. Military officers have to get security clearances. So the naval officer would have required a security clearance. Civilian working there would have security clearance requirements. The issue, as Randy properly points out, is who was sponsoring his security clearance while he's at the Naval Academy. Was it still through the CIA? Because obviously he'd only recently brought in Ramius, whatever, Hunt for Red October. Somebody's going to accuse me of not knowing these movies well enough. He just done all of that for national security. Would the CIA still have kept his security clearance, or would it now be sponsored by DoD? Reciprocity from the IC into DoD averaging just 6 days. Fairly easy process. Reciprocity trying to go from DoD to the IC pretty much always requires a new background investigation. The IC is special. They have special requirements. They have special access and eligibilities. Will we ever see that crossover more streamlined? I hope so. I think that with Trusted Workforce 2.0, there is some movement around that. The idea that the IC might actually use INBIS could facilitate some of that. So we could see some better reciprocity. But when it comes to speculatively commenting on TV scenarios, my guess is maybe Jack Ryan still kept his CIA security clearance. They were sponsoring it as a part of some special adjunct role he had, but they knew they need to bring him back on because you can't give up that kind of a brain trust. But if he was Joe Schmo, Professor Ryan, and he was just working in the DoD and had not saved the world one movie prior and was trying to go from a job at the Naval Academy to working with the CIA, yes, a new background investigation would be required. But yes, the government does have ways to read in people for special access programs if the stake of the world and security is at stake. But these are good questions to ask. Security reciprocity, always a hot topic, always something worth looking into, just knowing the crossover, knowing as you're applying for positions and considering positions, if you're with the IC now and moving into DoD, will you be able to pick up that clearance very easily? Not necessarily, depending on how long you transfer into DoD. We could see that process improve and become better through Trusted Workforce 2.0. I think there's certainly possibilities for that. But for now, if you save the world in one movie and in the next movie you consider just becoming a professor, just know that could have career implications. So for more on the serious side of this or the not so serious side of this, visit us over at clearancejobs.com.